Some ask me, why haven't one made a video about the civil war in Syria yet? The truth is that this conflict is one of the most complex not only in modern history but in universal history due to its number of fluctuating factions throughout these 14 years of war, which have been taking the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Rather than explaining the entire odyssey of this unceasing conflict, one decided to make a video with 5 keys that will help you understand it better, and after which one would like to know your opinion on the matter. Alright, then stay until the end of the video. To understand the origin of the conflict, we have to go back to the year 2011, when in Tunisia, a young fruit seller set himself on fire after he was humiliated and his stand was confiscated. This was the spark that triggered the so-called Arab Spring, a series of protests against authoritarian and corrupt governments initiated in Tunisia, but which, by domino effect, spread throughout all the Arab world countries. The country that concerns us, Syria, was ruled from 2000 until this Sunday, November 8th, by Bashar al-Assad. Don't be fooled by his innocent face, as he is a tyrant who did not hesitate to use violence and during the demonstrations ordered to shoot at people. After these abuses, a part of the Syrian army broke away to form the Free Army, which is actually a collection of armed groups commonly referred to as the rebels. This leads us to the second key to this conflict that reflects its overwhelming complexity, the multiplicity of actors. Unlike most conflicts, the Syrian civil war is not a simple fight between two sides. The country, already a mosaic of different ethnicities, cultures, and religions, quickly fragmented, and a series of factions have fluctuated that appeared, disappeared, allied with other factions to end a third, and then fought among themselves. The most representative have been the Syrian government, led by Bashar al-Assad, the rebels, represented by the Free Syrian Army, the Islamic State, currently very weakened, the Kurds, who founded the region of Rojava, and other jihadist groups like Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a branch that broke off from Al-Qaeda, and is the protagonist of the latest news regarding the fall of al-Assad after the capture of Damascus. This news is of special interest to some foreign powers, which goes hand in hand with the third key, international intervention. Syria has become a real global chessboard. The al-Assad regime is backed by Russia and Iran. The former has a significant naval base in Tartus, which gives it direct access to the Mediterranean Sea. The latter is religiously and ideologically aligned with the al-Assad regime and considers it its most important state ally. The Syrian opposition is supported by the United States and Israel, the latter being an enemy of any friend of Iran. Turkey also supports certain rebel groups such as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Their goal is to prevent the separatist aspirations of the Kurds from being fulfilled, another faction that has the backing of the United States. Ankara wants to prevent the spread of Kurdish independence at all costs, as this ethnic minority is also significant within Turkey's borders. Finally, the Islamic State, which reached its maximum expansion around 2015, was fighting against everyone and never had any international support. However, today, it can be considered that they have already been defeated. The fourth key is the one that should matter most to us, which refers to the humanitarian impact. The Syrian civil war has caused a devastating humanitarian crisis. More than 500,000 people have died and millions have been displaced, both outside and within the country. The cities have been left in ruins and basic infrastructures such as hospitals and schools have been destroyed. The fifth and final key is to understand the situation of the conflict today. Unfortunately, 14 years have not been enough to achieve lasting peace, and the war is far from being resolved. Despite the constant ceasefires, the breaking of the last one is again changing the map of the territories controlled by each of the factions. Al-Assad has escaped and his government has collapsed. However, recent events in which Hayat Tahrir al-Sham has taken Damascus show that this situation can change at any moment. As of the creation of this video, they control this entire portion. The Syrian National Army and the Turks occupy strips in the north of the territory, which contrast with the areas controlled by the Kurds, who have even named the region they control as Rojava and have established a de facto self-government. Finally, the United States and the Free Syrian Army have taken much of the south of the country, while some Russian tribes occupied a territory known as the Southern Operations Room. As we are in critical moments in which the war has intensified, this map is subject to new changes, which we will continue to report on the channel. Understand these 5 keys helps us reflect on the complexities of this conflict and the need for sustainable solutions that prioritize peace, something that unfortunately we will not see in the short term. But now you tell me, what do you think will be the outcome of this sad episode? You